You've likely heard you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. But when you look online, you're being told you need to track everything you eat, only eat the boring foods, and walk on a treadmill at 10% incline every single day. And you're at a crossroads where you need to lose weight, but being in this calorie deficit thing seems unrealistic, unsustainable, and unenjoyable. Surely there's a simpler way to be in a calorie deficit where I don't have to log every single calorie I eat, I don't have to cut out all my favourite foods, and I don't have to live in the gym. Well, I've helped over 300 women lose weight and not asked a single one to log their calories. And in this video, I'm going to show you a much simpler and more enjoyable way to put yourself in that calorie deficit. Okay, before we dive in, let's make sure we're on the same page regarding what are calories. Technically, a calorie is a unit of energy that measures the amount needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree. But let's be honest, we don't care about that. We think of calories as the amount of energy in our foods. And the only way to burn fat is to burn more of these calories than we consume. And this is called a calorie deficit. And there are only 3 ways to put yourself in this deficit. Anyone who tells you anything else is lying. 1, eat less calories. 2, burn more calories. Or 3, do a bit of both. Think of calories and fat like you're saving up for that really expensive handbag you want. Let's say it's 10k. I don't know how much handbags are, so forgive me if that's wrong, but the handbag represents the perfect body weight you want to get to. And to get there, you need to save up some money to then buy it. The money here is the calories. The money you save, aka what comes in at the last Friday of the month when you get paid, is the calories you burn. The money you spend each month is the calories you eat. Over time, as you save up more money than you spend each month, your bank account will go up and you will reach that 10k goal. The same way, the more calories you burn over time than you consume, your body weight will go down. So let's look at the first side of the equation, the calories you consume, which by the way, out of the two is way easier to control. It's a lot easier to not eat 500 calories worth of milkshake or cookies than it is to try and then burn it off. First thing to note is most people know they need to eat calories. Like, yeah, Javid, this isn't new. I'll just eat less calories, no big deal. But this is a massive oversimplification, and tracking calories and just trying to eat less overlooks a few things. Firstly, not all calories are equal. When you eat food, it will be made up of either of the following: carbs, protein, or fats. Whilst on a plate, 100 calories of each is technically the same. When you eat it, the net effect is not. So going back to our money example, let's say you are going out, you're spending £100, and there's 3 different ways of spending that money. You have cash, card, and Amex. With the first one, when you go and pay for something with cash, the shop goes, oh, absolutely lovely. I won't have to put that one through the books. Tell you what, because you're paying cash, still have the £100 worth of stuff, but you only have to give me 80. Whereas you go and pay for something on a credit card, you don't get that same luxury. You have to pay full price, but you have one of those 5% cashback things. So although you spend 100, you get £5 back. So the net effect is you've still got £100 worth of stuff, but you've only spent 95. However, with an Amex, which I don't actually have, but if you were to use an Amex, you get nothing for that. You spend £100, you get £100 worth of stuff. The end result is all 3 of those options, you got £100 worth of stuff, whatever it is you're buying, but the net impact of what you've spent and the net impact on your bank account is going to be different. So how does this relate to protein, carbs, and fats? Well, when you eat, your body expends calories trying to burn down and digest the food. It's called the thermic effect on food. And I'll put a breakdown on screen, but protein uses 20 to 30% of the calories you consume to digest it. Carbs, 5 to 10%, and fat, next to nothing. Now, am I saying only eat protein? No, you need carbs and fats just like you need a card when you're doing your online shopping because you can't use cash for that. But we do need to take this into account when choosing what to eat in order to put us in that calorie deficit. The next thing we need to consider, which tracking calories and just trying to cut down on the calories doesn't take into account, is the impact of the foods we eat. For example, I can have 500 calories of cookies, milkshake, chocolate, quite easily might I add, or I could have 500 calories of a high protein meal. One of them is going to make me feel like I need to take a nap and have me craving more in about an hour. The other will fill me up, keep me full until my next meal, and fuel me for whatever it is I'm going to be doing that day. So if one is more likely to make me eat less calories later on and make me move more, that needs to be factored in when it comes to the decisions we make with what we eat. Am I saying completely cut out the cookies, the chocolate, the milkshake? No. but we do need to factor this in. So how do we apply this? Well, just as you would saving up money, you set some rules. Now I have done full videos breaking down different portion strategies and meal plans, so check them out. But for today, I will give you 3 principles you can start using right now. Number 1, make sure to prioritize protein in every single meal. Make the main ingredient in lunch and dinner a protein source. 2, try and keep 80 to 90% of the food you eat single ingredient foods. Things like fruit, vegetables, potatoes, rice, beans, eggs, meats, mince, salmon, chicken. Foods with one ingredient. And 3, try and find low calorie alternatives to your favorite snacks. The worst thing you can do is just completely cut them out, unless you generally think you can do that forever. Try and find the low calorie yogurts and mousses and chocolate bars and crisps. Obviously, these will fall into that 10 to 20% non-single ingredient foods, but that's what makes a balanced diet. And stick around to the end because we're going to put this all together and come up with what a full week might look like. Okay, next up is the other side of the equation. The amount of money you're saving up, aka the amount of calories you're burning, which is called your metabolism. The amount of calories you burn in a single day. This bit at the top is the amount of calories you burn exercising. This bit is the thermic effect on food, what we spoke about earlier, the calories to digest your food. This bit is the calories burnt coming from just moving, anything outside of exercise. So like me moving my hands as an example right now. And this 70% is all the calories you burn day to day doing absolutely nothing. If you were to sit down on this chair or go and lie on the sofa all day, do nothing, your body will still expend calories just staying alive, breathing, cell production. When it comes to weight loss, most people focus on that 5% at the top. They just try and lose weight by just increasing the exercise. But can you see why focusing on the other 95% makes way more sense? We spoke earlier about the thermic effect on food and how we can increase the calories here, but the big one we need to address is this 70%. This could be a full video on itself, but the reason my Instagram is full of testimonials is because we place a huge focus on increasing that 70%, as this is the part that matters most when you're sat at your desk all day. Again, I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I'm gonna give you 3 ways you can use today to start to increase that 70%. There are more, but this will start you off. Number 1, boring as hell, but I just feel a bit off pretending that this wasn't one of the most important things, and that is sleep. And look, I hear you, there is not enough hours in the day. Trust me, I've got a newborn who keeps me up all night. I sometimes have to work late into the evenings, I get it. But you need to prioritize your sleep. And the very first thing to start with is your sleep consistency. Try as hard as you can to go to bed and get up at the same time every single day, including weekends. Sleep will play a massive factor in regulating your hormones, fat utilization, energy, mood, all the things that have a direct correlation to the calories we burn in that 70%. 2, you need to be doing the right exercises. But Javid, you said exercise was that 5%. Yes, but we're not exercising to burn calories. The workouts I get my clients to do are resistance workouts. This will increase your muscle mass, which is very metabolically active. Fancy way of saying it, burns more calories throughout the day. So me just sat here with more muscle mass on me because I've been lifting weights will burn more calories than if I had never lifted the weights at all. And the last one, avoid losing weight too aggressively. When you cut weight fast, this 70% part of your metabolism will slow down fast as well. Your hormones will crash, and it makes losing weight in the long run way more harder, which is exactly why crash diets never work. Aim to lose 1 to 2 pounds or 0.5 to 1 kilograms a week. Don't try and lose 10 pounds in 10 days. You're trying to lose weight sustainably. You're not trying to cut weight for a fight next week. Now, going back to our BMR breakdown, the next one to address is our NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically, any movement we do outside of the workouts. The most common one you've probably been advised for this one is just to add more steps in. And to be honest, I'm not here to tell you any different. Steps are a great tool to increase your calories out. As long as you're consistent, doing 20k steps one day and then 2k steps every other day is not going to do anything. But finding your daily average over a week and then adding 1,000 steps each day to your daily weekly average over time will go a long way. Other ways of increasing this, get a standing desk, do more activities with your kids or your mates, and just make sure you're not sat in one place for too long. Just getting up, walking around the house every hour or so, again, over time will make a massive difference. And then we have that 5%. Now, am I saying all exercise out of lifting weights is completely pointless? No, it can help speed up the process. But if you haven't already dialed in your nutrition, resistance training, your sleep, your steps, I wouldn't add this in yet. But if you have that dialed in, bringing in 2 to 4 light cardio sessions a week will help increase that calorie expenditure. Now, the biggest mistake is bringing in too much. Too much cardio, again, will tank that metabolism, just as if you were to lose weight too quickly. So start small, maybe 2 to 3, 15 to 20 minute sessions a week and build up from there. Okay, now let's get a full plan of what being in a calorie deficit would look like. First, let's start with the nutrition. We are going to be having 3 meals a day and 2 snacks. This is going to be every day, again, including weekends. Breakfast is going to be something high protein, moderate fat, low carb. So maybe some eggs, chicken sausages, turkey bacon, avocado, some Greek yogurt with some protein powder. Lunches and dinners, we're going to be using a portion strategy. So remember, 80 to 90% of the meal should be single, whole ingredient foods with a little 10% to make it a little tastier. What you have is completely up to you, but your plate should have the main part being a protein source, a carb source, which is roughly a fist size, so maybe some rice, potatoes, pasta, and then load up as much fruit and veg as you want on there. One thing to note, when it comes to cooking oils and butters and other fats, try and keep it a thumb size per meal. So if you're using it to fry off a load of mince as an example, and that's going to make 5 servings, use roughly 5 thumb sized portions of oil to brown off the mince. Snacks, we're going to keep them at the same time every day. This has been shown to help reduce cravings. And I'm going to keep them low calorie, and bonus if we can make them high protein. So in the afternoon, maybe I'll have a protein smoothie or a protein shake or a protein mousse or a protein bar. And then after dinner, maybe I'll have some baked crisps or a little bit of chocolate or some low calorie ice cream or some low calorie jelly. Pretty much all jelly is low calorie, but trying to keep the calories below 100 to 150 calories. Training, I'm going to be lifting weights 3 times a week, 4 to 5 exercises per workout, and focusing on getting stronger each week to build up that lean muscle mass to increase my metabolism. After a month or so of doing this, if I want, I may then add 10 to 15 minutes of light cardio at the end of my sessions. Outside of this, I'd try and set up a step goal of maybe 8 to 9K and then try and up this by 1,000 each week until I'm at about 10 to 12K. I'd make sure I get away from my desk at lunch and as soon as work is done, and have a strict bedtime, aiming for 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. And then at the end of the week, I track my progress to make sure I am getting results and give myself multiple ways to win, not just the scale weight. I'd look for the average weekly weight by weighing myself every day and finding what the average is for the week. But I'd also take pictures before and after, see how my clothes are fitting, take measurements, and just note how I'm feeling as the weeks progress. Now, this plan will help get you started, but as you go through, changes will need to be made as your body adapts. What gets you from 80 kilograms to 70 is going to be different from what gets you from 70 to 60. There will be times life is crazy, you hit plateaus, you're real, you got holidays, motivation wears off, and that is where having a coach to give you that guidance, support, clarity, and hold you accountable massively comes in handy. So if you are a woman over 30 and you'd like some help getting to your dream body, there'll be a link in the description to apply to work one-on-one with me. If not, and you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to the page, and YouTube thinks you should watch this video next.